We have got to talk about, because I know all four of us are painfully invested in the Lakers coaching
Yes.
search, which
It's
officially
over with
hit.
now,
God
bro.
damn it,
It's
levels
over with
today.
now.
I know.
Coaching search.
Coach K is Coach K.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. So Coach K is on as a consultant.
Where did he coach again?
I
Sorry,
think-
I can't remember. I want to refresh my memory there.
He coached Sam Cassell, I think. Didn't he coach
Oh,
Sam
right.
Cassell?
Yeah, that's right.
Claire, I think was it you who tweeted out the video of
Yes.
Braun's hypothetical?
Yes. Oh my
So
God.
this is so funny. Claire tweeted out on their podcast, Braun asking JJ Redick, hypothetically, like, when you're coaching your kids, do you like more threes or do you like, but he even was doing his fucking Braun
Yeah.
face of like, I'm so cute. Like, this is going to be so funny when you end up being the head coach of the Lakers in 2
And there
months.
was a pause
Like,
too
it's
between
so
coaching your
obnoxious,
kids. It's like
bro.
hypothetically, when you're coaching your kids' team, say,
Your kids team.
and then JJ just started like hysterically laughing because it was the most unsubtle. Yeah, that was awesome. I love their podcast, for the record, but
It's really good.
It's really good.
extremely
Are you
good.
excited to watch 82 games of it next year?
well, I mean, I end up covering so I'm technically a national writer, but I end up covering like a lot of Lakers just because like I live in LA. And
Right.
so I will be, I'm sure, attending, 40 something JJ Redick post game press conferences next year. I think of the available coaches, honestly, I think it's the best choice. I really do. Like, without a shred of irony. I don't think you need like a super experienced coach in this role. I think you need a guy that these guys respect and that they're going to listen to and that has a good basketball mind. And also the most important thing, which I do think he's smart enough and self-aware enough to know, is like when to reverse course, when to humble yourself and, take advice. And if he has a great supporting coaching staff around him and he's willing to listen to like what the players think, like I do think you have one of the greatest basketball minds in all time in LeBron James, like on your team. I don't think you need to be like Spo to be a competent coach for this team. I think you need to be able to make in-game adjustments. I think you need to be able to detect who your best 5 players are and play them more.
Put the best lineup out.
Play them more than the other players who aren't as good and aren't making as much money. And I think you need to understand your personnel and understand like, I think Darvin had a coaching philosophy he was very, it was very committed to, and I don't think he had the personnel that matched that philosophy. And instead of adjusting to his personnel, he tried to adjust the personnel to the philosophy. Like, I think he's just about guards who can run fast. I think that's what he wants to see on the court, and that's what he believes in. And the Lakers' strength was always the bigger that those lineups were, the better they were. Yeah. So
I think with Bron, he wants a coach who is on the same page with him. He doesn't want a coach to lead him or to teach him. He wants a coach who sees the game the same way he does.
Right.
And I think him and JJ see the game the same way, and he knows that.
Yes.
Because we remember that moment where it was after the Lakers lost this season, and Bron, was about to answer a question, but he said, no, I'm going to stop myself right there, because he knew the answer. He knew what should have been done in that game, right? But Darvin Ham, for whatever reason, was not on the same page with him. So Bron isn't looking for someone out there to give him guidance or to be a teacher. He's looking for someone to be on the same page with him. And I think him and JJ are for sure on the same page. And I think JJ's his guy. And I've said that ever since the dots started connecting on why he started that podcast with him.
Yeah.
That whole podcast has just been one big piece of campaign material, bro.
Yes. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Really good campaign material.
Jason Gallagher, the best campaign
That's
manager.
my boy.
Salute to Jason Gallagher for the successful campaign managing of the JJ Redick 2024.
I'm the president of the Jason Gallagher fan club. I love that guy.
I think Jackson's the vice president. We all love Jason for sure. It's just funny. It's like, it's genuinely such a great podcast, but it does increasingly feel like
coaching interview.
It was just the QVC. Yeah, like the QVC. Like, did you like this podcast? Call 1-800-JJ Redick to order him as your coach tonight. Like,
oh my God. The other thing I think is an important, I just want to say real quick while we're still on the Lakers coaching topic, like the other thing I think is really important for a coach of specifically the Lakers and also just a LeBron James team in general to be that Darvin Ham was not, is like willing to fall on the sword, even if you don't actually believe it's your fault. Like, you have to be willing to take some accountability. It's just the nature of the job, especially the Lakers, honestly, with anyone on it, without LeBron. It's such a high profile franchise.
Right.
And Darvin was always so reticent to accept any responsibility. And it was always like deflecting blame and like, oh, when we get whole, or like, oh, we need to play with more energy, or, oh, just tip your cap to the other team. They're just better tonight, And so I think JJ's media savvy. He's smart. He knows how to work a press conference. And I think that's a really important, like, understated quality of a Lakers head coach.
I think Darvin always knew his head was on the chopping block, though. You know what I mean? He was like,
well, he was in over. I think he was in over his head. And I
yeah,
think he knew he was in over his head.
He always was trying to project.
Really good dude, though, by the way. I just feel like I should say that as I'm like shitting on him left and right. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
Huge fan of him as a person. We said that when we did our celebration balloons dropping podcast that he got fired. It was like, I think he's a great guy. His life story is unbelievable. I'm a big fan of him as a person. It just has nothing to do with being the head coach at the Lakers, with all due respect.
How do you feel about JJ? Mike, how do you feel? I know we've been talking about we wanted Frank.
Yeah, well, so I wanted JJ Redick, as we all discussed, would not have been that experiment would not be how I would want the next couple of years to go. Yeah. Personally, I would be very happy if they hired Sam Cassell. Mm-hmm. JJ Redick, I think, to Claire's point, I don't disagree that he would not necessarily be the best option. Number one, first of all, if he keeps LeBron and he keeps LeBron happy, they're all in on that at this point. There's no version of this team that I'm excited to watch next year. Yeah. That's just not. It's just not the way things currently look. That being said, this is the story of the Lakers in the last couple of decades. Is they get up to the plate, they do not watch strikes. They swing as hard as they can, and they are going to hit a home run, or they're going to strike out and miss the ball by 2 feet in one direction or another. Steve Nash and Dwight Howard, obviously bringing in Bron, AD was great.
Westbrook.
The baby Lakers with the baby, but then you bring in Russell Westbrook, big strikeout. You go, okay, we're going to give this guy. I mean, think about really how crazy it is to give Darvin Ham his first shot at being an NBA head coach.
2 years after winning a chip,
with
right?
potentially the end of LeBron James's career. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a big swing, and it didn't work out. He was not necessarily like in the position or ready for that job. So JJ Redick, he could be Pat Riley. I mean, like, that's the best case scenario. Or he could be another guy where it's the second time in a row you try to give someone their first head coaching job with the tail end of LeBron James's career. I'm at this point, I'm sort of resigned to that until the Lakers become owned by the Guggenheim, group that owns the Dodgers and everything else in LA, that runs everything off of an AI model that's correct about everything. This is what the Lakers are. It's going to be big swings, and fuck it. Like, it'll be interesting. It's never boring.
What I've heard that is heartening is that they're willing to, when they entered this coaching search, they were willing to pay whatever for like the best candidate possible. And that was really heartening to me, because obviously I think the Russ move was the worst mistake they've made. And I mean, it was one of the worst NBA like front office mistakes ever, honestly, like historically. But I think the second worst mistake they made in LeBron's tenure was giving Ty Lue an offensively low offer, like lowballing Ty Lue and making him,
and then gave him 3 years, right?
Forcing him to walk.
Offered him 3 years. Yeah.
And because honestly, like, I really believe in my heart of hearts that if Ty Lue had been the Lakers coach this whole time, they would have multiple championships. Like, I think that's kind of just objective fact, honestly. And
he wouldn't have let them get rid of KCP. He would have grabbed himself around KCP's leg. And
so many things wouldn't have happened. And also he wouldn't have lost the locker room. That was Frank Vogel's biggest like downfall, is that he lost the locker room. Same thing obviously happened in Phoenix. It's not that Frank Vogel's not an excellent NBA head coach, but the problem is, like, managing egos and managing superstars is a huge part of coaching, beside like X's and O's aside. And he lost that locker room. And I like, just knowing Ty Lue, he would not like, that's not Ty Lue's bag. Like, if he's going to do anything, he's going to have these guys respect. So that to me is like shaking fist at sky at the Lakers for not paying that man. Because I don't think that they're going to lure him away from the Clippers. I think Steve Ballmer is going to throw whatever bag he needs to at him to keep him.
We made him an extra couple $1 million with the Clippers. I feel like that's what we did, basically. Like,
and he deserves every penny. He's an incredible coach.
For sure. You're tapping into a lot of well-worn storylines on this podcast for sure, 100%.
The NBA playoffs are heating up, and so is the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. with same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. Don't miss out as the NBA postseason winds down.
Oh boy, the playoffs have gotten fun. The Nuggets Timberwolves series is crazy, and we are locked in to see who comes out of Mavericks Thunder as well. And if you're new to DraftKings, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Jenkins. That's code JENKINS Jenkins for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.